Good afternoon and happy Thursday. Hopefully you had a happy Thursday out there as well because today was actually a really good day. Now in pre-market this morning, it really didn't have a whole lot happening. So back on the pre-market watch list, I'll show you real quick. We didn't really have a whole lot on here. Well, we did actually. We had 5 stocks on here: ATHA, MDLN, VYNE, PAVS, and YCBD. And only a few of them actually met criteria. We're going to talk about which ones did and why we were watching the whole 9 yards here. I'll break it all down for you. And the big thing here going to the open was ATHA. And this thing was pretty hot back in pre-market. You have this big move up on phase 3 news, and it sits here and consolidates, putting in place a nice base to build off of on the breakout. And it actually makes a pretty nice move out of market open. Now, of course, I don't play it all through here. I was watching it here on the break of this previous high back over the 7 spot because, again, this was the high from this area of consolidation. And so this gets breaking out, and we sort of have this confirmation out of supply. Look at this. You have this nice little pivot off these wicks where, again, price breaks above, pulls back, confirms. Again, that supply becomes demand, so this is able to leg up back up in towards the highs out of market open. But of course, I don't play it through here as I was still planning for my day at that point. Now, we come out of the open, and I try to play this a little bit, and you can see I didn't really get what I was trying to get here. I had a perfect entry. You can see I was looking for the grab here off the 9 and 20, and it pulls back, and I nailed the entry after buyers step back in to look for that breakup higher. But see, I got a bad fill on trade number 1. I don't know what it was about this because it wasn't very spready, so it was just a little bit odd. Some sort of latency issue But in any case, I get a pretty bad fill here. I'm trying to get filled at 772. I get filled up here at 780. And so already starting off on the wrong foot there. I had to take a quick exit, again, because I wasn't in where I wanted to be or where I needed to be. Took a re-entry off the pullback, looking for that breakup higher, and I left some money on the table here just because the trade kind of weird. My issue, though, with this was not so much this move, but it was more so what happened earlier in pre-market. Let me show you here what I was looking at. So we had the pre-market high sitting right here at $7.85. And so whenever you're looking here on the 1-minute chart, my concern here whenever I was playing it was we just rejected off. Look at this. So we just rejected off of this high, trying to break down and rejected back beneath. And so my concern is, this just confirmed a double top here off the pre-market high. What if we're just consolidating here before the leg back down? And so I didn't really have conviction here that I didn't want to play it over the high because then it would be a little bit extended. And so I just pretty much left it alone from here because you can see from, again, if we did get breaking out to VWAP, you were about $1 away. So I did not love that moving right along. So ATHA was okay. Nice action out there. But again, I just couldn't really get the move because, again, where I would have really played this was back here going into the open. But again, it just didn't happen out of the open for me. So I left it alone. And again, I don't chase the breakout. I always wait a few minutes for the market to settle and find a direction. And right here, I couldn't really get that. Now, what I did see here is it opened up, and I was going to take this first pullback too. You can see here we have these topping tails up the high of this range, and so I was so close to taking this pullback here. But again, I sort of hesitated because we have this big wick off the high in the past break, so I left it alone, and I sort of missed my entry. So overall break even on this today. I've got a small win, got a small loss. Moving on from that, we had UGRO, and this one here was one of those kind of names today, and this got going again out of market open. I was already watching it in pre-market, but it wasn't my favorite stock of the day today because of what it is. They typically don't trade too well. This one, to my surprise, actually did not trade too bad. I was very shocked by the fact that it traded pretty good, actually, and I made it happen here. And so we had a simple little 1-minute break of trend. Of course, we know this theme is hot lately. These stocks have been rocking and rolling. They've been soaring high, if you know what I mean. So I watched for the break of trend here on the 5-minute chart. It gets breaking out. And of course, we have this area of support formed from pre-market as well, which you can see right back here off of, what is that, like 4080? Yeah, 4080, a little bit of a cheap name here, but 4080. And so using that area of support here off 4080, which you can see right here where price, look at this. Price pulls back off of VWAP, grabs liquidity. Look at this. It knifes back down to this level, and buyers step back in aggressively. Then it pulls back one more time to retest off the 20 moving average. And guess what? Buyers step back in again. And so after I see this, I'm like, all right, we have a double bottom here. We have this nice double bottom confirmation. Looks amazing. And of course, stop loss goes right here at the bottom of this previous low. So I'm able to nail this for a pretty nice play. And of course, we knew we had range here back up into these past highs around 48 and 50. So risk to reward here was spot on. And so was able to take it here, as you can see. I was in here at 42 cents, or really 41.80. 41.80, risking off of 40.80, so about a cent of risk, literally. Was able to take some pretty good share size on this, and got to move all the way here to about 45 cents. Now, this was nice because, and I'll show you here on the 1-minute chart, this gets breaking, and so after I take this entry, and of course, it breaks out over this past high, that's when I raise my stop to break even. Then, of course, I'm just trimming as we move up into those psychological levels like 44 cents, able to get some more trims there. Now it's stuck consolidating here, and I ended up taking a full exit once this began to crack beneath this past candle's low because we had this higher low. as that cracks, took my exit right there. And then, of course, this made one last new high, and then she was done from there. So very happy with this overall. As you can see, played it here from 41.80 to about 44 cents. Last but not least, we had PAVS. This one here was my favorite of the day today. But the unfortunate fact of this is it wasn't tradable, or maybe it was a fortunate fact because it stopped me from trading it when I shouldn't have, was if you couldn't trade this today out of market open or before market open. So this wasn't tradable going into market open. And so I tried to trade it, and I was like, oh, well, sure enough, it's not tradable. So I looked back at this later in the morning because this looks so good. I was like, please be tradable. I tossed out some test shares, see if it would get filled, and I was able to trade it. So I was able to get in there and do something here. Really good setup, though. This is an outstanding setup. This is a majorly beat down chart on the daily time frame. This was talked about a lot online the last few days because it was just so beat down. Look at this. So crazy beat down chart, massive gap on the daily chart. And so I'm watching this, and this is looking pretty good because what we have happen here is a simple VWAP reclaim. Now we have these lower highs stacked off here on the 1 minute charts. We have lower high, of course, followed by these lower lows. So we have this sort of descending channel put in here after market open on pretty low volume. Now with volume, look at this. Volume begins to pour back in here on the break of this channel. So look at this. Volume pours back in on the break of the channel. And we see buyers come in. Look, it breaks out, and look what happens here. It breaks out over VWAP, pulls back. This candle then gets bought up off of VWAP, confirming that buyers like it right here. And so now I know I want the next pullback. And then, of course, I know we have range back to these past highs sitting right here. Again, giving that area of range to the upside to about 290 to 3. And so able to trade this pretty nice. Again, took the pullback entry there at 273, risking the past low off 265, so roughly 7 cents of risk. And then I got to move here, of course, from 273 all the way to about $3 a share for close to a 30-cent move. And so again, a beautiful trade here. This was picture perfect. Could not have asked for a better setup. And then I know, look, buyers are liking to hear off of VWAP, so I just want to keep on going back for seconds, third, fourths, and fifths. And so price pulls back again after reclaiming VWAP. Look at this. It tries to break down, but then it pops back above and reclaims. So now I'm looking for pullbacks again out of this price range off of VWAP. Cool. And so again, price pulls back off of VWAP. I got filled a little bit high, but I still made it work. Just taking pullbacks off of VWAP where it's working. Played it back from 284 back to 293. And then again, the same thing happens. Look at this. It breaks back beneath VWAP. Then it reclaims. Look at this. Reverses back above VWAP and the 9 and 20 EMA where I take my re-entry. So I get in again on the reclaim of the 9 and 20 moving average over VWAP. And I play it again from 282 back to 287. Then it pulls back again off the 9 EMA. And I play it again from 284 back to 293. So this thing was a printer today. Whenever you find out, all right, this thing just keeps respecting XYZ. This thing just keeps respecting the 9 and 20. This thing keeps respecting off of VWAP. Putting in place this awesome range to trade. You can sit here and capitalize so many times back and forth because I have this super clear defined range. Off the lows, I know where I've got demand sitting, and off the highs, I know where I have supply sitting. So it just gives you this really easy range to trade out of to just take after base hit. In this case, I have this big home run win. Then I've got base hit to just tack on the day and just stair step it higher. So this was the most obvious stock of the day today. This thing was absolutely phenomenal to trade. Of course, the big IPO today on MDLN is also hot. This is on last night's watch list, although I didn't trade it today. It did make a picture-perfect move off the flush today, which if you did watch last night's watch list video, then you knew this thing looked fire today. And again, what I said to look for today on this, you can see it down here in the bottom right, was to watch for a flush off 37.50 to pivot back over VWAP for the range back to 40 and 41. That made the perfect move today. YCBD from last night's watch list tried to get breaking out, but unfortunately never really found strength above that breakout level, so couldn't trade it today. Left this one alone because you can see here it tries to break out but instantly rejects. Never really finds any strength on the break of that level, so I left it alone. Then we also had VYNE as well, which I wanted to watch today on the break of 65 cents. Never got the breakout here. You had the nice setup for a curl back towards 77 to 80 back into the previous high, but again, it never broke out, so no break, no trade. So all that said, that pretty much sums up my morning here. It was a really good day. PAVS was definitely the winner today. It was definitely solid. It was obvious. And it was just overall a really fun and obvious stock to trade. So as always, if you did learn a thing or two from this video, make sure to subscribe for daily content just like this. And make sure to claim your 7-day free trial to watch me trade stocks just like these in real time every single day. And get access to alerts, education, chat room access, scanners, news, our new journaling app, and every other update we're coming out with pretty soon. Some exciting stuff. So go down to the description below, sign up, lock in your spot, and I'll see you back there in the chat room or back here tomorrow after tomorrow's session.